There's a wonderful saying in business that there's riches in niches. And that works a heck of a lot better with an American accent where I call it riches in niches. But my warning for you today is that there's also ditches in those niches. Sometimes you can go into a niche too early, too fast, and cause you and your business untold hurt. So I want to talk in this episode of Blackboard Fridays about how to niche, but also when is the best time for you to actually go down that path. So why is there such an opportunity? Why are there riches in these focused market segments? Well, it's because of that focus. The focus that gives you a much greater return on your investment. The focus allows you to do much more targeted marketing. It allows you to build a team that is a much closer fit to your client base. It makes it a lot easier for me and others to refer to you because your niche target market is very, very clear. And then of course, lastly, you can build a very niche solution, which is both refined and more profitable at your end, and also much harder for any competitors to compete with, to copy. So there is definite value in being that niche. If you're going into battle, better to do it with a spear tip than with a wobble board. How then do you work out what a niche is? Well, I've stolen from a wonderful book by Mark Lenthall called Predictable Success some of these different categories. And if you have a look at your existing client base, you may start to see where they are grouped across these different areas. So your niche might be demographic, it might be psychographic, it might be geographic, or it could be, if you're a business to business kind of company, it may break down into some of these industry size structure, ownership structure kind of categories. Great niches will combine several of these. That's how you get really, really small and focused. McDonald's sells 1 billion hamburgers not by going too small. Whereas for most private enterprise businesses, we do want to make sure we have a very, very clear niche. And to give you an example, for me and my coaching business, my niche, my focus is Gen X clients who are energetic, who are generally between 12 and 96 people. In terms of the business life cycle, they are transitioning from startup to scale up. I combine those four to have a very, very clear focus. You'll see my clients can be anywhere in the world. I have no geographic niche. Another theoretically competitor in a business coaching space may have a very, very different focus. They may work exclusively with specific industries in a certain city. And this is one of the reasons why I say there's no such thing as competition. Because if I have my niche and she has her niche, then we can actually send each other clients. We can work together and both us and the clients win. They create that outcome. Why are there ditches in niches? Why do some people get it wrong? And for me, in my experience, it's because they try and niche too early. They try and niche from the outside of a market segment instead of from the inside. Now the struggles with that are twofold. Firstly, if you just look from the outside and go, I'm going to go and target that profession or that type of business, you don't yet know what they need, and what you're trying to sell them may not be what they need. You might have a great focus, but you're a problem in search of a solution in search of a problem rather than a problem in search of a solution. You're trying to sell them something that they don't actually want. The other thing is the best niches, and the ones you'll often see in case studies, are the ones that get stumbled across. They're not obvious from the outside. It's only when you as a business owner find yourself solving the same problem for the same type of client over and over again that you realize you've created a niche. If you go too narrow too soon, you'll lose the opportunity to actually stumble across a much better opportunity. Let me leave you with two actual case studies and examples. The first was the very, very first full-time job I had, which was a real estate agency that specialized in riverfront sales, very, very high end. And they had a wonderful niche that meant that they were selling some of the most expensive and therefore most valuable in terms of their revenue properties in the city. Now that was not a niche that they targeted. The business owner had been given a referral early in his career to sell a riverfront home, and he did it successfully. He was good at his job. And that then meant the neighbour said, well, if you sold Bob's place, then maybe you should sell mine. Before he knew it, he'd sold 2 houses on the river, 2 in that niche, that geographic niche. And what he started to realise was that selling 2 in that category meant he was one of the leaders in that city. Because of the way the industry was set up around franchise areas, most of his competitors only had a tiny segment of the river in their suburb. So at best, they were going to sell 1 or 2 a year. By being an independent, he actually had an opportunity to target the whole river, to go where his competitors were not, under their franchise agreement, allowed to go. And so he did, he embraced it. And having found that niche, he doubled down, he invested very heavily in becoming an expert and was successful as a result. If he just tried to pick a random niche, he would not have had that success. He was open to the opportunity. And sometimes being open to the opportunity means creating a larger business that has multiple niches and works together to create a robust business. So this is the last case study I'll share, which is a professional services firm. 3 partners who were very, very alike in terms of culture and in terms of the specific product that they were selling, but their target markets, the demographic, was quite different. And so they decided to go down a strategy where each of them was going to niche. The geography was the same, many of the psychographic elements of their clients were the same, but they had 3 very different demographics. Now this has meant that they've lost the benefit of focused marketing. They have 3 times the marketing investment to go into 3 different niches. However, the advantage is that they have a much more robust business. They've got a great culture, which means if one of those niches were to have a downturn or a decline, the others would be able to pick that person up and, by delivering a similar product, engage them with those clients. So they've gone down a multiple niche strategy. And again, that was only something they were able to do once they were in the industry, once they were delivering great outcomes to their clients, and they were able to look back and go, what do our best clients have in common? And what would happen if we niched our focus to only work with them? If you don't yet know the answer to who your best clients are, go and find more clients. If you do, if you're clear on that niche, then focus, double down, and go forth. And I wish you all the best with those riches.